You love football. You really do. You've got strong opinions on every draft pick. You yell at your TV before the ref even throws the flag. You're in multiple fantasy leagues. You listen to football podcasts year-round, and you'd put your football knowledge up against just about anyone. So you start betting, and then you lose. This is the experience that a lot of fans go through when they try to make the leap into sports betting. And it's exactly the experience that I went through myself. I'm Pizzola. I'm a pro sports bettor now, but for a long time, I was a losing bettor. And one of the biggest reasons was this. I thought my love of football meant I'd be good at betting football, and I wasn't. Now, recently I came across a tweet that nailed this idea better than I ever could. It's from Andrew Mack, a sharp bettor who's actually been on this channel before. And if you haven't seen that interview, I'll link it down in the description below. It's excellent. But I want to paraphrase what Andrew wrote, and we'll throw up the tweet here up on screen so you can follow along. What he said was, you're a football guy, you love the game, you watch it, live it, argue about it, maybe even build your week around it. You can recite stats off the top of your head. You know more about your team's depth chart than your family's birthdays. And so eventually you decide to start betting on it. You figure, hey, I know football better than most people. I've got an edge. But then you lose, and not just once, consistently. So you double down. You start diving into analytics, EPA, air yards, success rate, all the stuff that's supposed to separate the sharps from the squares. But your results still don't improve. And now it hits you. This isn't about how much football you know. It's about the fact that you're playing a different game than you thought. You assumed betting football was about football, but it's not. It's about betting. It's about trading. It's about understanding prices, markets, and the players on the other side of your bet. And until you recognize that, your fandom is going to keep leading you astray. That's the point of this video, because that's a hard pill to swallow when you love the game as much as you do. But if you want to stop losing and you want to start thinking like a winning bettor, you have to reframe the entire way that you approach this. So let's break it down. Let's start with the most common assumption, that your football knowledge makes you a sharp bettor. This is what most fans think when they get into betting. You know the game inside and out. You watch all these primetime games, every playoff game, maybe even the preseason. You follow your team religiously. You can name offensive line coaches. You've got stats ready at your fingertips. You know who's underrated, who's due, and who always shows up in the big games. And you start betting based on all of that. You're using your football brain. You feel like you're leveraging everything you've learned as a fan, but you're not winning. Because being a fan, even a really smart fan, means you're trained to think in narratives. Who's good? Who's improving? Who looks the part? You're judging teams and players like a scout, like a coach, maybe like a fantasy GM. But betting isn't about who is good. It's about what the price is. And that's where it starts to break down. Because in a betting market, you're not rewarded for being right in general. You're only rewarded when the price is wrong. The best bettor in the world can be wrong about a game's outcome and still make the right bet because they beat the number. As a fan, you're used to watching football like a story, but in betting, you have to start seeing football like a market. So maybe you realize fandom isn't enough. You're losing and you want to fix it. This is where most people pivot into analytics. You discover EPA per play, success rate, air yards, early down pass rate, all the advanced metrics, and you think, now I'm sharp. You're learning things that not every fan knows. You're using data to build a new edge. You start questioning the mainstream takes. You're reading the right Substacks. You're following the right Twitter accounts, maybe even running your own models at this point. And it works. Sometimes, but not consistently. Because now you're making better football evaluations, but you're still not thinking in market terms. You're building edges based on what's true, not what's mispriced. And there's a huge difference there. Just because a team has a better EPA profile doesn't mean they're a good bet if the market already knows that. You're just paying the full price for it now. Analytics are important. I use them every day, but they are only a piece of the puzzle. To win long term, you have to understand how the market moves, how information is priced in, and where your analysis offers value relative to the line. Analytics aren't going to save you from bad prices. They won't save you from overconfidence, and they definitely won't save you from blindly betting what your model says without understanding why the number exists. This is the part where it actually starts to click for people. Betting isn't about football, it's about betting. Now that sounds obvious, but it's a hard mindset shift. When you bet on the Cowboys -3, you're not betting that the Cowboys are a better team. You're betting that -3 is too low, that the true fair price is -4, -4.5, and you're getting value. Betting is about price versus value. It's not who wins, it's what is this outcome worth. You're no longer watching a game, you're evaluating a market. And the sooner you internalize that, the sooner you stop making bets based on who you like or who you think is better. This isn't fantasy football. This isn't barbershop talk. This is trading. If you're not treating it that way, you are already at a disadvantage. Here's another piece that most fans don't consider. You're not betting against the sports book. You're betting against other people. The book is just the middleman. Every time you make a bet, someone else is taking the other side. Sometimes it's another casual bettor, but often it's a professional bettor, a syndicate, a model that updates every minute. That person has better data, faster accounts, and years of experience identifying value in the market. This is where the concept of counterparties comes in. If you're late to the market, or if you're betting purely on feel, or if you're following public narratives, you're the one that they want action from. This is what Andrew Mack meant by adverse selection. It means you're only getting filled when you're on the wrong side of the value. You're not losing because you're unlucky. You're losing because sharp bettors already shaped the line, and now you're betting into it at full retail. Understanding this is crucial because it reframes betting as a competitive ecosystem. And if you're not being thoughtful about where you fit in that ecosystem, you're probably being used as liquidity. Here's the good news. Once you understand all this, you can adjust. You can stop chasing football edges and start looking for market edges. You can stop asking, who do I like in this game? And start asking, where's the value in this current number? You start focusing on closing line value, on bet timing, on your process over your results. You stop forcing plays because it's Sunday and you need action. You start thinking like a trader, patient, methodical, objective. This is what changed everything for me. I was a smart fan. I was even a decent analyst, but I didn't start winning consistently until I realized I was betting into a market, not just picking games. And now, as someone who does this for a living, I can tell you that mindset is the difference between long-term winners and everyone else. So now that you understand the game you're really playing, what do you do with all this? How do you move forward in a way that gives you a real shot at being profitable? Let me start by saying this. There's no silver bullet. If you're looking for a system that just prints winners, you're chasing something that doesn't exist. But there are habits, there are tools, and processes that can point you in the right direction. For me, one of the biggest changes, maybe the biggest, was this. I started making my own numbers. Before I even looked at what the sportsbook had posted, I sit down and create my own lines for every game, based on my power ratings, my own adjustments, my own read on that matchup. That way I know before I look at the board whether I'm seeing value or just being influenced by the market. Because if you're only reacting to lines, you're starting the process backwards. You're letting the market tell you what to think. And if the market is sharp, and in most major sports it usually is, then you're always going to be one step behind. You don't need to build a perfect model on day one. But if you can start the week by asking, what should this number be, instead of who do I like, you're already thinking more like a trader. From there, you can compare your number to the market. If the difference is meaningful, you dig deeper. Is this an actual edge? Is there information that I'm missing? And that's how the process gets tighter. You're not betting to have action. You're betting to beat numbers. You're not relying on your fandom anymore. You're testing your opinions against the market. And over time, you'll start to learn which of your edges are real and which are illusions. That's the goal. Sharpen your process, track your results, Study what the market is telling you and don't stop evolving, because the market certainly won't. There's one last trap I want to talk about, and it's a big one. It's the idea of using the market itself to justify your bets. A lot of people fall into this. They say things like, I like this side because the sharps are on it, or the public is all over team A, so I'm fading them. Or even worse, this line looks fishy, the sportsbook must know something, it's a trap. Now let me be clear, the market is a reflection of consensus opinion. It's not a cheat code. If you're making a bet just because the line moved, well, you're late at that point. If you're betting something because you heard sharp money came in, you don't know why it came in. If you're fading the public with no edge of your own, you're just guessing and putting a contrarian sticker on it. The market is your measuring stick, not your compass. It tells you what price the world has settled on. Your job is to know whether that price is right or wrong. And if your entire reason for betting is this line smells fishy, then you're not betting with an edge, you're betting with paranoia. Don't outsource your thinking to the market. Build your own, then compare. That's how you find value. I've used football as this example for this video, but it practically applies to any major sport. If this video helped shift your perspective, hit subscribe to the channel. This is the kind of content we're focused on all football season. Content that goes deeper than picks and narrative. Content that treats betting like the market it is. And if you want to hear more from Andrew Mack, the guy whose tweet inspired this entire video, we'll link to the full interview down in the description. It's definitely worth your time. Thanks for watching. I'm Rob Pizzola. This is Circles Off. Let's make you a better bettor.